Hello, I'm Teresha Young, relationship master coach, and welcome to this week's Relationship Talk. For this week's question of the week, I have been asked, I haven't met my partner's children. Why not? I'm in a long distance relationship with a man that has 3 kids and he's in his 50s. We have been talking about marriage. He says he wants to marry me and has also asked my mum for her blessing. The issue I have is the fact that I haven't met his children. He keeps telling me I'm going to meet his kids, and when the day comes, he either doesn't bring it up or tells me his daughter is busy with uni stuff. The last time I brought this up, he told me I would meet his kids in 4 weeks. That was in September. I really have a problem with him lying to me, but my family says he's a single parent and I should give him time. His wife passed away 7 years ago, so they might not care to meet me. Am I wrong for feeling like he's lying to me? So, thank you for asking that question, because I'm sure there are many people out there who have found themselves in that similar situation, or they know somebody who has been in that situation themselves. There is nothing wrong with you feeling like he is lying to you, because your feelings are your feelings. What we need to be doing is helping you to understand and explore why you feel that way. Now, there seems to have been several disappointments that you've had with regards to meeting his children and it doesn't happen. So quite understandably, you may have your doubts about this situation. If not already had a conversation with him, I would strongly encourage you to do so. In last week's relationship talk, I spoke about the power of using I statements in order to express your feelings when it comes to these tricky, difficult conversations that we might be having. And it helps you to structure that conversation. So I would invite you to go back to last week's video and watch that. Now, as I said, the important thing is that the delay in him not wanting you to see his children, or appearing that he doesn't want you to see his children, could be a symptom, but it's likely to be a deeper root cause that could be causing him to delay that meeting. And it's important that you therefore have a conversation with him, because the only way you're going to find out is if you have that open and honest conversation with him. Perhaps he is still grieving the passing of his wife 7 years ago. He might not be ready to have his children meet you, and equally his children might not be ready to meet you too. But that's not because it's anything that you should take personally at all. This is their own journey, their own experience. And if you have that conversation with him, you'll be able to understand a bit more about where he's at and his mindset. But you can only get that clarity through an open and honest conversation. Sometimes I can see that you're in a long-term and long-distance relationship. And I'm not quite sure if it is long-term, but it is definitely long-distance, as you said. And he has shown a level of commitment in terms of actually saying that he would like to marry you. He's even spoken to your mum about having her blessing for that marriage. The thing that I have spotted in my experience, and also when it comes to working with my clients who have found themselves in long distance relationships, is that whether you know it or not, subconsciously, because there is a limited physical availability, it can cause a lack of deep commitment and sometimes even an emotional distance. Long distance relationships absolutely can work, and it might be helpful for you to have a conversation with him, if you haven't already done so, to understand a bit more about the intentions for you coming together. There could be so many reasons why you're in a long distance relationship, but maybe talk about what the next steps are, because if you can have that conversation, it may then open up the doors to you then meeting his children. It's taking those gradual steps first, like a snowball effect. You start small, keep rolling until it gets bigger and bigger to the end goal. What is important for you is to ask yourself as well, would you be absolutely okay if you were not to meet his children soon, or ever meet his children? Because that could be a possible outcome. You met him and you met him for himself. So I would really strongly encourage you to sit down before you have a conversation with him to understand if you would be okay with that. Journaling is a great way for you to take those thoughts and feelings and put it onto paper. Really explore, if I was not to meet his children, how would that make me feel? How important is it for your relationship with your partner to meet his children? You may find that there's a piece of forgiveness work, releasing work that needs to be let go, so that you can just say, okay, in the event that I never ever meet his children, or it's not anytime soon, that I am okay with that. I forgive myself for any low feeling thoughts that I have about this situation. I even forgive him for not making us have that opportunity to meet his children, because again, it's his feelings, it's their feelings, and we have to honour and respect that. You may even find that when you are journaling and letting out your thoughts and your feelings, that there could be some triggers that come to you. Perhaps you've been lied to before, and that is something that is lingering for you to do some personal work on, so that you can release it, so that you can firstly accept that situation, forgive that situation. It doesn't mean that you're condoning that person's actions at all, or what you're doing and you're setting yourself free from it. So really sit down, explore that, because if it turns out that you have a conversation with him and it's not likely that you are going to meet the children anytime soon, or potentially in the future, we can't predict the future, but that could be a possible outcome, see if you can be absolutely okay with it. And then just purely focus on nurturing the relationship and strengthening the relationship that you have with your partner, you and him. I hope that has been helpful for you. And for everybody else who has listened to this Real Relationship Talk, have you found yourself in a similar situation? Or do you know of anybody who has found themselves in a very similar situation? How did you deal with it? Were you able to just move on? Or did you come to some sort of understanding with your partner as to what was the delay in meeting the kids, the children in that relationship? Please to let us know. Drop a comment below. And until next week's Real Relationship Talk, take great care of yourself. I look forward to seeing you on next week's video. And if there's any way at all that you feel that I could help you along the journey, then please do check out my website. It's www.tereshayoung.com, and let's see how we can work together. Take care.